Hey guys, and welcome to another Girls Frontline 2 video, and today I'm going to be giving my early reactions to my experience with Makiatto. Now this character is she's actually extremely good. She finally diversifies the game a bit. It makes it so you don't need to rely on QJ for literally everything in the game, and it just allows you to be a little bit better. She has her own survivability, shielding for her first skill. Her second skill allows you to just do more damage, but it's not really entirely useful depending on what you use on her. But this skill right here is absolutely insane. 160 attack with scaling crit damage for 30%, and of course cold conviction, which just makes you do more damage for shooting it. Very easy, very simple to use her. Her passive is what makes her extremely free to play friendly, because 40% crit rate is an insane stat for a sniper, and it makes it so even with a poor build you can have a lot of crit rate. And me, I got 90 crit rate so it's pretty good. Military chest simulation just reset. I got my ranking, and we'll show you a little bit about how Makiatto goes. Yes, I'm a little late, but it is what it is. Alright, so the thing with Makiatto is honestly, I've been testing her out for a bit, and she's an extremely interesting character to say the least. If you've played any military simulation yet, you'll notice that Makiattos are running rampant. I don't know what they were thinking when they made her second skill that you get for having two of her. You'll see, I'm gonna use it later. I haven't put it in yet. This is free to play one, but I don't know what they were thinking, but she is running rampant, okay? I've been getting insta-killed by Makiattos for so long that I'm starting to lose my mind a bit. And he probably has it here. Look, you'll see when he uses his Makiatto, but I think I'll be able to out-strategize it. Alright, so for me, I like to do my little left strategy is what I like to call it, where I just rotate everyone around the left side of the map. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but not too bad. We have her ult. It basically just gives her a counter. You shoot her, or her teammates, I believe. She's going to shoot you back. Nothing too complex, but what's really crazy is just her second skill. But yeah, a lot of things have come out though. There's a few stages that came out that I need to show you guys about. There's a 1-5 that came out for the event. I'll have the video out in probably a few hours, so that is crazy. How good is his Sue? Okay, whatever. So we're going to insta-kill our QJ. Now hopefully, since I'm going to have her in the open, I'll be able to live. But there's a 50-50 chance that his Makiatto might insta-kill me. But yeah, no, that was her skill. Her skill is extremely useful. The amount of stats that they gave her is honestly, personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous, and it kind of shows that the game's gonna have a lot of power creep. But it's TBD, to be determined. We don't really know. Everyone still synergizes nicely, and I still don't feel like anyone's been replaced by having Makiatto. I still use my Mosins a lot, and she accomplishes the jobs that I need her to do, so it's not like anything terrible has happened because of her, but it still feels like when they have characters come out that are this much better than the competition, it seems like it's a bit problematic. She's gonna get insta-killed. Okay, yeah. Now one thing that is a bit of a problem with Makiatto, if I was gonna say myself, is when you're playing the simulation, a lot of the Makiattos are it's almost like their AI is a little skewed, where there's some Makiattos that will completely and utterly abuse you, and there's some Makiattos that seems like they're using all the wrong skills at the wrong times. This Makiatto, I don't even think she hasn't even used her ult yet, and most of them immediately use their ult. And it's just for me, I just find it confusing. So this is gonna insta crit, 100% crit. That's what I love. Boom, 5k. 5k is absurd for just a basic skill you can use 3 times. So he has a basic normal Makiatto, so he's just gonna lose. But all in all, I would say this character is so worth it. She is so unique in the way that she plays, and that double survivability where you have a sniper that you could just use as a full roamer makes life so easy. And boom, just like that. Luckily, we didn't get into no crazy the crazy Makiattos people be running. They be putting PTSD in me, I'll be honest. Alright, so we're just gonna do a little basic run of this. This is 8 out of 8. I haven't made a guide on it yet, which is why I'm still here. But yeah, no, here we have a pretty simple build, and you'll notice from the gameplay that when you're using a Makiatto, life is actually pretty easy. She has very few things you need to abuse, and a lot of her skills, like her murderous intent skill, makes it so that she's really strong against fighting bosses. Because for that, it makes you do 20% more damage for nothing. Just for having him be the highest health target, it stops him from getting frigid, yeah, whatever. But it allows you to just abuse bosses and just abuse tactics that you otherwise wouldn't be able to use. It's unfortunate that I kind of have to use Suomi, because like Suomi I feel like is one of the best characters in the game, hands down, and definitely for harder content. But the synergy that she has with my phase strike is basically the only way I can show you a properly F2P-esque Makiatto. So like, we're not really gonna mind the strategy I'm using, we're just gonna burn through it real quickly. I made a few mistakes, but it doesn't really matter. But like, when using her, you really can just like, the survivability and the damage she pumps out isn't crazy. So for her ult, I haven't really gotten to show it in the last one when we're using the PvP. But basically what's nice about her is she gets a follow-up attack because she gets alert for 2 turns, and it procs everyone's support attacks. So when you're not able to do any damage, she really comes in clutch and allows you to still get all the DPS from your characters without even needing to have a turn for DPS, if that makes sense. Now here, we're just going to showcase how useful she can be in a more like DPS-centric build. So here, we don't really need to worry about much with her. She's never going to die because of Suomi, so we're just going to focus on damage. And what's nice about this team is 0 people on this team are going to do any damage, or at least my versions of them. My Vepli isn't built for damage, my Cheetah is built for like buffs and healing, and she doesn't have a lot of high skill things on her. And most importantly, my Suomi is built for survivability. So you're not really going to see anyone pump in damage other than my Makiatto. And I will be making a guide on this hopefully in the next like day or 2. I needed to level up my Papasha because honestly, to beat it, you need to have characters that are just highly statted up. And if they're not legendary, it's hard to really get those stats up. And I also don't want to over level them, because if I have, like, what's the point of having F2P units to show you guys to complete something if they're so highly leveled and so like unrelatable that they're basically not even free to play units anymore. They're just like, they're like false free to play units, if that makes sense. Like, I need it to be somewhat free, like relatable. And I'm also not using Suomi, and not using Suomi, I'll be honest, is abuse. Like, I don't know why I'm doing it, but it makes life so much more difficult. It's ridiculous. You don't even understand. So here, one thing that's nice about Makiatto is, and like situations like this, you can see I do a lot of damage, but sometimes it's better to use her in a way where you know that you're going to do damage later, so you prep it. So you can use professional tactics, and she's one of those units where you can get Confectus points without having to get out of your way to do it. Like, you don't need to do anything special, you can just use 1 skill and it gives you 4 in total. Now, one thing I will say is her skill seems like it wasn't balanced properly. And by skill, I mean her first fortification. The amount of damage that she's capable of putting out seems like there was no thought put into that. To say that in like the most respectful way. Like, the Makiattos that I've been seeing have been absolutely ridiculous. And you'll see at the end of the video, because I got a second one, I just haven't used her yet. It is ludicrous the amount of damage and the amount of change that it has just by getting that 1 fortification. And you'll see every shot, one thing you'll notice is every shot that she uses, you can progressively see that it's doing more and more damage. So we did like 4.9, we just did 6,000 damage. And it's because every time you use it, it does more and more damage. And it's not really noticeable in PvP, but when you use it in PvE, the damage is ridiculous. Like, you start to notice real quickly how significant those little numbers are. And that's one thing I really like about her, because it still feels like you have to think with her a bit. Like, when you have characters that are very mindless, like, I feel like when I use QJ, it's very mindless. I use the ult over and over and over again. I keep spamming it, keep doing damage, keep doing damage, keep doing damage. It kind of like, it loses its fun after a bit, and you kind of like lose, like, the purpose of the character starts to like get blurred a bit. You're like, why am I using this character and using the same ability on every single mission? And here it kind of just gives it like a little bit of a fresh taste, where it's like, I have a unit where every single one of her skills are useful, and every single one of her skills does damage and has a purpose. And it just feels like you have a fully fleshed out character where everything about her was well thought through. Everything about the character feels like, okay, this character has meaning, has definition, and you really never know which skill to use because every skill is useful. Like, even here, I could probably use the ult and kill. I could use this and kill. And I will say that it is kind of hard to use her in one sense, because a lot of the times it tells you if it can kill or not, and right here it says it can't kill, but when you have crit rate, it really makes that's probably one thing that's bad about her, is I feel like if you reach, it sounds crazy, but I feel like if you reach 100% crit rate, it should show you the real bar, like the real amount of damage. Like when you're at this point, it really confuses you because you never actually know what she can and can't kill. And like, even that, this, okay, it doesn't have any health, but like the amount of damage it really does is always different than what you get, and it kind of is annoying. And boom, level 8, you could complete the entire thing. Now if you have survivability, you could just supplement Suomi with better characters, but you could beat the entire thing for first stage just Makiatto, and that's insanely impressive. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speed through it. I'm just gonna show you tiny clips of her first fortification, because I don't want to make this video too long, but I'll just show you the final damage numbers of 8-1 with her fortification and a few insta kills of her.